Hi, I'm Kim. You're watching Kim Wilson TV. My channel is dedicated to helping victims of narcissistic abuse get free and stay free. Today's video is brought to you by Linda. Linda, thank you so much for your donation to the channel. There's a really important element to narcissistic abuse that we've only talked about once, and it was over a year ago. I feel it's a pretty big trap, and certainly something the narcissist is going to use when they feel you slipping away, or if they're going to be incorporating it as part of a Hoover tactic. That is future faking, and I want to talk about that today. Now, of course, future faking sounds pretty much like what it is, someone faking the future, but it's much more insidious than that. The narcissist is very much a slave to their agenda, a slave to their plan to destroy you. Why? Because you're a better person than them. Plain and simple. Envy. Truly, envy is at the core of what they are. But once they've moved past the early love bombing and idealization phase, true to their agenda, their four-step plan, that's kind of behind them. So as time goes on and the devaluing starts and you start to wake up to what's going on, or at least suspicion is starting to grow, you're starting to question things, true to their course through the four steps, they're not really going to fall back on love bombing. So they now are relying on something called future faking. They're not going to go back to the love bombing to try and trap you again. But what they're going to do is take all the things they've learned about you, and trust me, they have stored this information. They've banked it away. But not as information about you, like you wanted to learn about them because you loved and cared about them. They're taking all these bits of information and they're storing it away as an arsenal, as weaponry, something they're going to use against you later. Nothing with these things is ever happening by accident. Everything is a well-calculated manipulation. And this narcissistic future faking can actually be seasonal. For example, in the early spring, if I had left and Trevor was hoovering me, he would say things like, "Oh, come on, Kim, we'll get you that greenhouse. I know how important it is to you." And of course, having a greenhouse was very important to me. And I thought, my goodness, there he is, remembering something that was important to me, something that was dear to me. And now he wants to participate in that. Geez, he must have changed. He must be sorry. Had he changed? No. Was he sorry? Not at all. Did I get my greenhouse? Not even close. In fact, most of my gardening efforts were met with, "That's it, this is the last year. Next year, I'm paving this yard." In the fall, when he would hoover me, he'd say things like, "Come on, let's go to Mexico for a week." Now, of course, I lived in Mexico for 10 years. 2 of my sons were born in Puerto Vallarta, and he knows that Mexico is very dear to my heart. So then he would start playing the, "It's going to be cold soon. I know you hate the cold. Why don't we get away to Mexico for a week? I'm sure we can work out any differences." I heard this about 1,000,000 times. Did we ever get to Mexico? Hell no. The man doesn't even have a passport. There you are, very much in love, happily engaged in conversation, telling them about your hopes, your dreams, your plans for the future, your desires. Now, they're not engaged in the conversation with you. They're listening, and they're storing away your plans, your hopes, and your dreams to future fake you with later. Now, if you've left and you are now being hoovered, you've left because something quite horrendous has happened, or just a series of horrendous things back to back. So the fact that you've left now has caused them a tremendous amount of narcissistic injury. What is this crazy cat doing? Cats are peculiar animals. Back door's wide open. Cat can just walk straight out, but no, he tries to claw his way out through the side of the house. This is extremely deceptive because on one hand, they've taken things that you've said to them, believing you're in a conversation, and they've weaponized it. That, to me, is extremely underhanded. They're using your desires, your personal desires now, as a weapon against you to lure you for further ass kicking. But in addition to that, and I assure you, They are going to make sure that those special plans, those dreams, those hopes that you have will never, and I repeat, never manifest as long as they've got something to say about it. Future faking can be any number of things. It can be a longed for vacation. It can be an improvement to the house, maybe even wanting a puppy. It can be any number of things, but whatever that thing is that's dear to your heart, they're going to use that as a weapon against you, and very, very typically during a hoovering. So if you're being hoovered, or if you've been hoovered in the past and recognize this as one of their tactics, please leave a comment. Now, this is very, very effective because, first of all, for me, I felt like, wow, he's been paying attention. He gets me. He maybe has been a complete and utter asshole, but maybe he's changing. Now he's putting my interests first, my desires first. Well, the hell he was. Every aspect of the love that you have felt for your narcissist will be weaponized against you. Trevor's manipulation, his cunning ability to future fake me, actually caused me to go back many times. It did lead me to believe in many ways that he had changed, that he was less self-focused and now was focusing on things that I wanted. All lies, every bit of it deception. The narcissist's greatest weapon, not just against us, but against the world, their greatest trick is lying. They are absolutely habitual, chronic liars. If their lips are moving, they're lying. Regardless of what's coming out of their mouth, they're lying. Now, if you're hanging on for some future thing to happen, or if you're on the verge of getting hoovered back based on the fact something important to you is going to happen, time will tell. It's not happening. You've been future faked. The only thing you can absolutely trust in is that they are pathological, habitual, chronic liars. Every single word out of their mouth is a lie. Every ploy, every move is intended to manipulate you, trap you, keep you sick, make you sicker, destroy you. Your only honest, truthful hope for a bright future is one without a narcissist. Your absolute best hope for a wonderful future is to free yourself of this horrible thing. Let it go. I know it's hard, but let it go. Hanging on to lies, hanging on to deception, hoping there's a shred of truth in this, it's going to kill you. It really is. I'm Kim. You're watching Kim Wilson TV. I hope you guys are having a great narc-free day.